Hello everyone, welcome back to DevOps and Cloud with Arya. In the previous video, we already talked about the deployment, a service, config map, secret, ingress, many things. But the thing is, those topics is actually still handling with the static resource of generation. Means like whatever number of user you have, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4,000, 100,000, that's doesn't matter because they will be like still served by single service or static services or the deployment, because we haven't like learned about the how we scale this deployment. And now in this video we will talk about the horizontal pod autoscaling, which help us to do the scaling whenever we know the threshold when we do the scaling. Let's say we want to do the scaling when the number of the percentage of CPU usage is reaching certain number or anything. So before that, if you have found that this video is useful for you and this channel is interesting, don't forget to subscribe and share this channel. And also, I'm opening the membership program. I really need your support, so just join the membership program to get more interesting video like this. So now let's get started. So the idea of the HPA is actually to scale the number of pods, because the idea is the more pods that you have, the more load that you can handle. Generally speaking, it could be true, but at the end of the day, it's depend. Let's say you have like a multiple number of pod of backend, and it can be like scale from 1 to thousands to handle the number of user. But then if you have only one database and the bottleneck is on the database, so it doesn't matter, all of the number of the scaled backend will be meaningless, because at the end of the day their CPU usage will be increased, because they will like waiting for the connection for response from the database, and then they will only like scaling like crazy without any response to the user. So it's depend. But for a general topic, yes, the scaling it works. So that's why now we will talk about that, how we do the scale of the number of pods depend on the load itself. Okay, so in the video also we will like simulate the number of load using performance test tools called logas. So let's get started. First is like create the deployment. I already prepared the deployment script, the basics one, and we will check the change that we need to do. So first let's check the deployment that I already have on my cluster. So it is none. So now let's change this, the deployment. This is actually the basic one, so we just need to set the replica to be a 1, because I want to have this a minimum as possible. And the container, the name is nginx and the image is nginx. This version you can use the latest, but I don't want to pull from the Docker Hub, so it will like faster the video process. So now the thing is, what we need to put is like we need to put some definition about the resources. Okay, in this resource we need to specify the limits of the resource that we want to specify for these spots. Maybe I will use a little number so I can show you the replication, a quick one. And we requires the CPU for this pod is the deployment is actually, I mean like also small. Okay, so now let's deploy the deployment. See, now let's get deployment. So now it's available, and let's check kubectl. Kubectl get HPA. This will be none because I haven't created the horizontal pod autoscaling. Now let's check the service. It's also okay. There is one, so I will delete it first. Delete service nginx load balancer, and that's it. Now I will recreate again the service, so we can like accessing that from the a web browser, also for the load, the performance load generator, so it can be accessed the pod itself. Okay, so now let's expose the deployment. Name is nginx deployment. Okay, and the name is like Nginx load balancer performance test, and the port is 8080 like usual, and the target port, this is the port inside of the container, is 80. Let's use the type is load balancer. Okay, if you haven't noticed why we are using the load balancer, you can check another video in this playlist. So let's try to create this. Oh, sorry, this one. Should be name. Yeah. And then kubectl gets services. See, now we have this one. So basically this IP, the local host with the port 8080 should be routed to the Nginx deployment to this port. See, to this one. We only have one port. Now let's try to open this. It will be good. Now the thing is, we need to create the. Okay, first maybe we can like WSL. We can like try to do the performance testing. Okay, let's try by Q. Okay, autoscaling now. I think I already have a locus file. Okay, a locus minus locus. So, yeah, sorry about that. cd kubernetes. Is the autoscale locus. I forget that I haven't installed the locus in the WSL. -f locus. This would be good too. I already installed on my Windows, so it's good. Now we can open this. Okay. See, now let's try to create some interesting things. So the number of user, let's put that to 100, and the spawn rate will be 10. Okay, so let's spawning. So let's see whether like all of the requests is good. See, so current RPS, okay, now it is like 500 RPS, and the number of the requests, oh, there is none failed, so it is good. I mean, for the Nginx, yeah, it should be good. But the thing is, see, now we have like that kind of RPS, but the number of pods still something like this, still only one. Okay, so if we kubectl describe pods in Nginx, see, this is the Nginx. See, the CPU limit is like this. Okay, but the thing is, we don't want to wait until the system is crashed before we launch a new pod. So the idea is, once we do this performance test, okay, we will use the same scenario. We can expect the number of pod later will be increased. Okay, right now we only have one. Okay, so now let's try to create the autoscaling using the command kubectl autoscale deployment. The name is nginx deployment, right? Nginx deployment. The minimum is 1, and the maximum, maybe let's set to be 4. Okay, and the criteria is CPU percent will be like maybe like 5%. Okay, so if the CPU percentage is reach 5%, then it will launch a new pod. So let's try to create that, and let's check get HPA. See, the target here, okay, per 5%. So now, okay, let's get deployment. See, that should be Nginx deployment. Okay, that should be the correct one. So now let's check again. Let's run the test again, and let's check again. Okay, still not working, so I think I missed something here. Let's stop this. Let's check first what is the one is missing, because the metric seems not recorded. Okay, I think the metric server is not running on the Docker desktop cluster by the default. So now let's try to enable those first. So yeah, I think this also happened for you guys, because if you are like using the Docker desktop cluster, then yeah, you still need to install that. So now let's try to clone the Kubernetes site metric server first. And metric server deploy. Let's see. It is not there. Let's check again. Where is it? There's nothing here. No, nothing. I think need to check the another one. Okay, wait a moment for that part. Okay, I think we can use the release one. So yeah, let's just use this one. Okay, this is okay under the release actually. So this one, the component. So now let's install this, apply the component. Okay, so be good. Now let's verify whether the metric server is running. Metric server, the namespace is kube-system. Okay, it's still waiting. Let's put some logs here. Where is the metric server? Okay, it's still not running yet. So let's check the logs whether there is some error or not. Damn, this is not expected. See. Okay, this one need to be troubleshooted. Okay, let's check again. Okay, for this. Okay, let's try to patch the deployment. Okay, because we need to put the insecure TLS. Okay, now kubectl get deploy. This will be good. Let's check. Okay. Okay, pods still not running. kubectl delete. No. This one. Okay, let's delete this. This is the previous one. Okay. Oh, not found already. Okay. Seems like it's good. I mean, okay, now the metric server is running. Yeah, so the thing is, let me explain a simple way. I haven't installed the metric system, and it is not like metric server. It is not like present by default in the Docker desktop. So we need to install that. And also, since we are not having the valid certificate, I mean it is self-signed, so we need to use the insecure-tls to ignore the self-signed certificate. But now it's good. So now we have this. Let's back to the business. Get deployment. kubectl get HPA. See, now we have this. The target is 0% per 5%. Now we are good. Now let's try to run the test again. And let's check whether it is increasing or not. If it not, then I will recreate the HPA and also the deployment too. It is not increasing. Why? Let's check. kubectl top is the there is not. See, now it's coming. See, the target is 90% per 5%. So now when we check get pods, nice, we have 4 pods already. See, get pods still 4 because like the HPA we set to 4. Okay, that's nice, right? Means like now actually we already have the auto scaling. Okay, the thing is actually usually we won't like let this happen until like 90%. So I mean, like if we increase the number of like 5%, it still like need to be scale, because you see even if we set only 5%, the actual load is actually 90%. So actually the number of maximum pods is need to be higher. So let's try to get HPA nginx deployment YAML. Let's see this. Let's try to hpa.yaml. Maybe we can change this fresh utilization max replicas to be, let's double this one. Is that possible? Let's have HPA configured now. Now let's check again. See, this is the real things. I mean, this is the good one. See, so now the target is, instead of 90%, it is like 24%. So if you check the number of pods, now it will be like 8, but no, it is only 4. Yeah, it is like creating again. And now 24% means like we can like distribute the loads again with increasing the number of pods. Okay, so now it's good. I think, yeah, that's how we talk about the automatic scaling, especially the horizontal one. But still, this is the only example only for the static web. But then in the real case world, when we have handling with the database in the front end and everything else, it could be like completely different story. But still, this is a good example of start for the beginner to start learning about the horizontal pod autoscaling. So if you found this video is useful, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and also join the membership to support this channel to go even further. See you in the next video.